This is Swarfcast. I'm Noah Graff. I'm honored to be with Erez Spicer, founder of The Machining Doctor and also Israel by Foot. Welcome to the show, Erez.
I'm really glad and honored to be here.
Where are you talking to me from?
I'm talking to you from Rakefet in Israel. Rakefet is a small community in the Galilee Mountains in northern Israel.
In northern Israel. Okay, very interesting. We'll have to. We're going to talk about Israel and lots of fun things. I want just the quick 30-second definition of the machining doctor, and then I'm going to get your story, and then we're going to dig deep. So just what is the quick definition of the machining doctor and your other business, Israel by Foot?
Okay, so the Machining Doctor is a website to give people around the machining industry practical information for their daily task. Getting cutting condition information about application, very practical stuff.
Mm-hmm. And how much traffic do you get on this? And when did it start?
It started on 3 years ago, almost exactly 3 years ago. Last October was 3 years, and today we have about 250,000 page views a month and about 100,000 unique visitors each month.
Wow, I'm so jealous. Okay, and then tell me about Israel by Foot, and then we're gonna find out the origin of these things.
Okay, so Israel by Foot is something totally different. It's a website that I built to help tourists who come to Israel hike in Israel. I hike a lot in Israel and also around the world, and I wanted to help as an Israeli patriot. I wanted to help people who come to Israel also see the country deeper in the landscape and not just in the famous places where all the tourists go.
Well, that sounds awesome. I would like to try that. And it sounds awesome to have a business like that. So, all right. Let's take it back. So how did the Machining Doctor come to be? And let's take it back.
Okay, so it's going to be a little bit long, but I think it's interesting because it's something I really believe in.
Give me the 10-minute bio, and then if it turns out to be 15 or 20.
No, I think it will be probably less than 10, but it has several steps. And what I like about it is the fact that it's something I really believe in, is that things in life lead one to another.
Serendipity.
In many cases without you making any plans. So the way it rolled out to me, I'm a mechanical engineer, an old mechanical engineer. I look younger than I am. I finished school.
How old are you?
I'm 57.
Okay.
I finished engineering school more than 30 years ago. And then I went to work for an Israeli company, which is very famous in the machining world, called Iskar, which is a multinational company, but the headquarters is in the Galilee in Israel.
For tooling.
Yeah,
selling cutting tools.
I still say we. I'm not there anymore, but I worked there for more than 20 years. We design and sell cutting tools, insert and tools. I think today number 2 in the world after Sandvik.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a pretty big corporate style company. And I started to work there as a young engineer. I worked in production for several years, engineering on the production floor. And then I left the company and I worked for about 7-8 years in a Swiss machining shop. Mm-hmm. And after a long period there, I I went back to ISCAR after 7, 8 years of absence, but to a total different role. I went to the marketing department, and um, I had a job of being the product manager for the grooving lines, and after a while, also for the turning lines. And I did that for roughly 10 or more than 10 years. And, and that was most of my career, and it looked like I will probably be there until my pension. But then things started to happen.
What
And
happened?
what happened? So it started a little bit funny. As I said before, I'm hiking a lot. Also, every time I take a vacation abroad, I also mix it with hiking. It's not all about hiking, but I also hike. And I was using a lot of these vacations were in Europe, and I was using a series of book that's called the Sunflower Landscape Guide. It's a British series of hiking books for different countries in Europe. And I really liked and connected to the style these books were written and helping me to make my vacations. So I had this idea that I want to make an issue about Israel, like a book about Israel inside their series of many books. So
Okay.
I wrote to the lady who is the publisher of the book of the series of books, and I explained that I use it and I want to make something about Israel that I think would be really nice and in line with with what they do. And she
Because
answered,
they had mostly European countries, or
yeah, mostly European countries. And she answered very nice to the email with a lot of British humor. But at the end of it, she said, no, we are not interested. And it finished there, but the idea kept knocking on my head. And after, I think, I don't know, maybe several months, I said, okay, no, I'm not giving up. Anyway, books is old school. I will build the website. And I didn't know anything about building websites. I'm friendly with computers, but I never built a website. I didn't know anything about it. So I started this project hobby. I was, digging around, starting to build the website.
how many years ago was this?
This was in 2018, not too long ago. And I didn't have any specific plans, just to give some trails and maps that people can follow. And I started to see that there is nice traffic, and people were giving me compliments that they used the website and it was very helpful. And at some point, I saw that it's possible to make a business out of it. And my dream was actually to retire at 60 years from ISCAR and make a decent small side living from the website together with the pension money. That was the plan.
Yeah.
In maybe in
Do you have
2019.
a family? Do you have any kids,
Yeah,
or?
I have a wife and two kids. The kids are grown up now, 28 and 24.
Ah, okay. So you're
Yeah,
free.
yeah. I'm at that phase.
I went in the opposite direction. I'm 43 with a almost 2 year old. So
Okay.
I totally went backward.
Okay. Everything has everything has the good, the advantage, and the disadvantage. We don't plan it.
That is true. So you're 60 at the
No,
time,
no,
and
no.
then
I'm not 60 at the time. I'm 57 now. I was probably 53 at the time. But the plan was to build it enough
yeah, it
so
shows
at
how good
60,
shows how good a listener I am.
yeah. So at 60 years, I would have like a partial pension and a website. And I was developing growing this business as a hobby besides my work in the hard work in ISCA. And then came the COVID pandemic, the corona. And in the beginning, like probably other people, I didn't know what's coming. I thought it's just something stupid in the news about China. I didn't take it seriously, but very fast the hiking business went to zero because nobody was traveling, and I was sitting at home in lockdowns. And in the
So
beginning,
let me interrupt you a second.
yeah,
So part of the business was the hiking website, and part of it was that you would actually take people on hikes, or was it mainly just an informational thing?
no, it was informational and organizing. Like someone would come and I would provide him with the maps, with the explanations, book the lodging for him, drop his baggage from place to place, stuff like that.
Did you actually go along with them on the hike
No,
too?
no.
Ah, okay.
I'm
Sort of
not.
like a travel agent. Yeah.
Yes, but very, very specific. And also a lot of information that you can just you could download the day hikes for $5. And also I had affiliate links with agencies, stuff like that made some money.
Okay.
But most of the income was from people that I, let's say, made a plan for them for a vacation that was centralized around hiking, and I would help them out to do it, what we call in this genre, self-guided hiking. Like they do it by
Interesting.
themselves, but I help them do it, although they're in a country that they are maybe afraid to do it by themselves.
I got you.
Okay. And then came this, surprise with the
The
pandemic.
apocalypse.
Yeah, the apocalypse. And in the beginning, I was taking the free time to invest in the website, but after some time, I got the feeling that maybe this pandemic will be 10 years, and I'm just wasting my time for something that will never come back. I was really not sure what's happening. So I had a lot of free time because in the beginning we didn't work at all. Then we worked from home, and after that, when I returned to work in Iskar, we worked in the beginning maybe for a year, 4 days a week, and frankly speaking, there was less to do because all the world was very slow. So
Hmm.
I was less busy, and I stopped working on the hiking website because there was no point for it. So I had the knowledge about building websites, and I had a lot of free time, and I was bored, and I started to
And you
think.
actually used your free time, unlike a lot of people.
I started to think, what can I do? I thought, okay, I will build another website because I really like this thing about building website. I enjoyed it, and I was looking for an idea for a new website. And then I said, okay, the other thing that I know besides building websites is that I know a lot about machining. So let's make a website about machining. That's how I got to, you know, to start a machining doctor.
Interesting.
Yeah, so yeah, for me it's like amazing. If I hadn't been rejected by this British lady, I would never have started this website. I have to thank her.
Well, you never know.
Yeah,
Maybe she would have. It's totally true. But then again, it seems like you were destined to do something like this. So one thing was going to lead to another. Maybe you would have gotten your thing in the book, and then you would have been like, I'm still going to start this website. But you're totally right. This is the way exactly to look
look,
to
one
look
thing
forward and to.
I'm 100% sure, without the corona pandemic, no chance. I wouldn't have the time. I was so busy at work that I didn't have time to think about such things. Maybe after I
Wow.
retire, something would have happened. I don't know, but
Sure.
not now. So that was like pure coincidence. So
Destiny.
yeah, probably.
So, all right. This that's an amazing story. Um we have a lot of listeners out there who are in machining in one type or another. Um, Describe the machining doctor and all the different things you can do. What are the most popular features on it, and how people can use it?
Okay, so probably the most popular thing that people come to use is that there are a lot of calculators, online calculators on the website to calculate things like cutting speed, surface finish, power consumption, tolerances, thread parameters, stuff like that. Probably have now around 25 such, let's say, small calculators.
Would this have been in the machinist's handbook? Is that some of the stuff that's in here?
Yes, but this is like interactive. Instead of going to a
Right.
chart and open
And then
looking in
having to
the
do the
chart, you
calculations.
just type in a few parameters and you get an answer. So it's some of the stuff is things that you can get from a handbook. Some are not, but anyway, it's very convenient and very
But that stuff
fast.
you'd need to do, right. You'd need to plug in the numbers into a formula. And on this, you put in feeds and speeds, or you put in the hardness of things, and it tells you exactly the kind of tooling you need.
No, 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 not this type of calculator. I'll be more specific. For example, you have a calculator that converts between Rockwell and Brinell and Vickers, or you have a calculator where you give cutting condition and it gives the theoretical surface finish that you can get with these conditions, or you select a raw material and the diameter of your cutter and more additional information about the application, and it will give you a recommendation for speeds and feeds. Or for example, you give a thread like UNC 20 TPI and it gives all the parameters like pitch diameter and everything for that thread. So this is the
Wow.
kind of calculators that are there.
I tried it out, but I didn't try it out on my phone or anything. I assume it works well on mobile devices as well. So somebody's out there in the shop and they need to do it.
Yeah,
It's pretty easy for them.
it's okay. It works better on a computer, but
Yeah.
also I can tell you that from the statistic that I can see on the website, more than 75% of the traffic is from computers and only 25% from phones. Which
Is this is
which
this the engineer has this, like, is using this while they're quoting jobs or designing stuff, or is
yeah,
that
yeah,
what you're picturing as far as your clients?
that's I think like the people who may be CNC programmers, tooling people, design engineers, and not so much the worker near the machine, probably.
Okay.
And this is untypical in today's world because today most of the traffic is for mobile. For example, on my other website, it's the opposite. It's more than 70% on the mobile.
Interesting.
So because of that, I also invest less in making it mobile friendly. Uh, it's not mobile unfriendly, but to make it like super cool mobile, you need to invest a lot of work. And because I see that almost 80% is from computers, I make it decent for mobile, but I don't go over my head to optimize because I have to decide how to use my time in for
How
the
much
most
do you
pressing things.
outsource? How much
Zero,
do you outsource for the programming?
zero. Everything from scratch is 100% myself. The
Do you
programming,
do you
the
consider that?
what
Do
do
you
you
ever
mean?
consider that?
I don't
Well, I
understand.
mean, some of the coding, you go to somebody else that will will do some of the back end for you, um,
Um, I'm
save a zillion hours of time. or you prefer
Yes.
to be in full control?
No. It's I'm not a control freak. In the beginning, it started as a complete hobby. I didn't know what to expect, so I just started by myself. In the evening, on the weekend, gradually, doing stuff, and also I learned a lot during making it. What I knew when I started today is completely different. I was learning so much, and so it was the evolution. And now, yes, I'm thinking about it, to outsource. I haven't done it yet, only a little bit here and there,
Yeah.
but majority I do myself, because also I enjoy it and I'm not in a big rush. So I have things I want to do, and when I finish one, I do the other. But you're right. I'm not. Maybe going forward, it's not the right way. Maybe I should, also outsource.
Yeah, I mean, I know firsthand, um, using virtual assistants. Yeah, I outsourced the editing for the podcast to some extent to a guy in Argentina. I have a guy in Turkey who's, just updates my website, the Graf Pinkert site. Other web developers I've had, I'm not sure. I'm the guy who designed today's machining world. I'm not sure if he may very well use outsourcers. There's a lot of people they outsource to Eastern Europe, and you get these great coders that
Yeah,
do a lot of
India.
the stuff you don't. India,
Yeah,
yeah, they do the stuff you don't want to do and free up your time. But I understand the beauty of both, and um, it just depends on what you want to spend your time on. Um, I'm not very good at outsourcing yet, and automating, I think, is the first thing you want to try doing before you outsource. But I'm too lazy to figure that out. So you said 150,000 page views, 100,000 unique visitors.
no, I
Have
said I
you?
said 250,000 page views.
Well, you can tell my brain is on high power right now. Okay, 250,000 page views, and how many unique users per month?
Around 100,000.
Around 100,000. Okay, so how are you monetizing?
Right now,
Or are you not? Are you not that concerned with it?
no, I'm very concerned with that, because after I quit my job, if I don't monetize from this, I have to put food on the table. It's I must monetize. Like in the beginning, yeah, it could be also very little, but now I have to make it work.
And tourism in Israel is kind of kacha kacha right now.
Yeah, even a little bit less. Like my income before, without wars and without pandemics, was about 50-50 between the two.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
now I'm even in a bigger problem.
Without wars,
Yeah,
you said.
without
Okay.
wars and without pandemics, it was about half and half.
So you have ads on the thing and you have a subscription. Explain the models
Okay,
and what you prefer, and
so
give me the spiel on that.
okay, so the way I monetize now is that I have what is called programmatic ads, which is, let's say, it's the simplest form for monetization a website. You just, let's say, you rent ad space to Google, and Google puts whichever ads seems fit uh, on the website. It does it mostly according to what he knows about you. Like you know it from everyday life. If you were looking for sneakers online, and then you go to any random website, there is a good chance you'll see an ad about sneakers. So
I
you,
know,
you
it's
can
so weird.
so you can go also on the machining doctor and see an ad about sneakers if you looked for that before on Google or on Facebook or something like that. And also it puts ads related to machining, but I have absolutely no control what it does.
Okay.
And it gives decent money when you have this kind of traffic. It's you can make an income from that. And the good thing about it is that you don't have to do any work. I mean, you have to build the website, but in order to monetize, you add one line of code that connects your website to Google, and everything is done automatically, and you get one paycheck a month. So it's really convenient. But there are downsides, two downsides mainly. The first one is that, in my opinion, it looks unprofessional. I don't like
Yeah.
that people go to a machining website and see ads about vacations and I don't know, whatever. And the other thing, people don't like seeing ads. So there are two things that looking forward, I'm trying to improve regarding the way I monetize. And the first one is I'm trying now to get ads from professional advertisers, not professional advertisers. I mean professional players in the market.
Like Iskar?
Maybe like Iskar, like a distributor of cutting tools, like someone who sells machines or oils or equipment or anything that's professionally related.
Yeah.
So I'm in the process of trying to get those customers. It's not so easy because
It's not so easy, and it's not so easy to make that much money from that either.
yeah, no, it's
Take it from us. I mean,
yeah,
but that said, we're not getting 250,000 page views per month. So if you are getting that, then they may be willing to
no,
pay some shekels for that.
I'm sure that I'm very attractive for them because they
Yeah.
don't have too many options to get their what they want to show in front of
It's
such a
very targeted.
yeah, really targeted
Yeah.
audience and big audience, and they don't have like other options. The problem is that I'm new, people don't know me, and these are mostly big companies, and they take their decisions very slow. But I'm sure
Yeah.
it will come. So it's much more work than getting programmatic ads because you have to find the people, negotiate with them, etc. But it will look more professional, and then we'd probably pay out also much more. So this is one angle I'm working on. The second angle I'm working on is maybe about 2 or 3 months ago, I added to the website an option to make a subscription. And I charge something that to me sounds like really modest,
What do you charge?
$1.5 per month. And then you get
It's nothing.
it's nothing, but you get the website without ads. And but think about it. Suppose everybody will pay $1.5 per month, then it's $150,000 per month.
150,000.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No,
Not
it's
bad at
not
all
bad.
for a website. Okay, so
But you are providing a great value. I mean, it. So I could see, the way you break it down. That makes total sense. Yeah.
so I have people signing in, not a ton of people, but maybe a few people per week are signing in. And I started actually because people were mailing me and complaining, you have a great website, but I can't use it because of the ads. This is really annoying. And I try to explain them that I have to make some money. I invested so much work in this. Something has to pay the bills. But people still, but people, expect to get everything for free on the internet. And they expect to get it for free, and they are angry when you're putting ads. So it's
Right. It's
Uh,
free-ish, but
yeah,
yeah, right. I know it's ridiculous how like we we go to an app store and there's some app on there that could like really help us, and it's like a $4
yeah.
charge. Yet we just we'd
No,
rather spend that $4 on a cup of coffee than
exactly.
spend it on something that could actually really make a big difference for us. It is very weird the way our our brains as consumers work, particularly these days.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, to me that seems a buck and a half. Yeah, that's incredible.
yeah. So I'm saying, like, if
Um,
someone is annoyed by the ads, it's distracting. I understand that, and I give a decent solution. So
what else are you doing? Are you writing blogs and putting videos on there?
I'm not writing so much. I'm not. It's not a blog. It's like it's a professional website, because also I saw in the beginning, after maybe a few months, that
I
traffic.
didn't see any blogs, but then you were talking to me about writing, so I was
No, no.
thinking, uh,
I have some articles, let's say, but what I saw is that the traffic is coming to the calculators and other pages that have pure information. Like, for example, I have pages that are very popular about thread standard. For example, NPT threads or BSP threads or Acme threads. You go in there and you see the charts and the sizes and the formulas and the tolerances and everything. So it's there is some writing in between, but a lot of numbers. And those kind of pages and the calculators, these are bringing massive traffic. And if I, like, for example, I have an article explaining what's the difference between thread milling and thread turning, okay, this gets very little traffic.
mm,
uh, I, I'm not sure if it gets little traffic because people are not searching for it. Maybe I'm just not ranking high enough for that, because for pure informational type of pages, there is more competition than the technical data and the calculators, because the technical data and the calculators take more effort to put together and more professionalism to put together.
right, and it's unique. There really isn't. I mean, are there are there really? I haven't seen any competitors like this online.
Yeah, probably
Is there?
not. And not exactly. Like, I think everything that you find on my website, if you look hard enough, you can also find it in another place. But there is nowhere where everything is put together under one roof and connected
Yeah.
so well together. So this is, I think, what is giving me, like, the advantage, that it's very well organized,
Absolutely.
it's everything together. And because I've been in machining so many years, I know what people are looking for, because I was looking for the same information. So I know exactly what's needed. And now I know how to make websites, and I could connect it. And I
Yeah. No.
believe that
It's
pure writing about machining probably also has a market, but there are a lot of people who have done it before. So I'm not ranking so much for these things, but for the pure technical stuff, I'm ranking very high. Not number one mostly, but let's say number three, number five, number seven on the first page. It's not bad.
no. I mean, it makes total sense. You're producing a product that is you're using right then, here and now, versus something that you read, which you might use in the future. It could come in handy. It's delayed gratification. Uh,
Maybe.
it takes energy to read something, so it makes total sense.
Uh,
Let's
but
what
just
what
one more thing. We
yeah.
started to talk about monetization. So these are, let's say,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tell me.
Sorry.
I was going to ask what your ambitions and what you see the future.
So there is another thing that I'm starting now. It's only in the planning stage. I haven't actually done something real about it, but I'm working hard to put it together. Is that I want to start to offer through the website to provide complete solutions to customers in who do machining. And what I mean by complete solutions is, I mean that I will get from a customer a print and the kind of machine that he is planning to make the part on, and I can make for him the tooling layout, the cutting conditions, the time study, CNC programming, simulation on tools like Vericut, stuff like that. And
And you personally will do it, or is it going to be
no,
automated?
no. There is if someone can automate it, he would be a really millionaire because it's very complicated. I don't know if
I
it's
know.
possible. I know some companies are working about it. Not personally. I will get assistance from other people that I am now in contact with. But this is actually what I've done a lot in the past 15 years. So I know exactly how the output should look like. I know how to, put it together. And I'm working on collaborating with other people to do it in a good way that will
That's
bring
interesting.
will bring my, let's say, expertise and expertise of other people that I know for many years, that I know that this will be let's say done together in a very high level. And I know that uh, especially the like CNC programming, there is a big shortage of professional people around there, at least in some countries. And I think there is a good chance that this kind of service will uh, will be useful.
Absolutely. It just seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Um,
work. It's to take each such project is several weeks of work. It's not minutes. It's not hours. It's a big
yeah.
thing.
Is this partly because you want to just use your mind in this way?
Um, no, the main thing is the monetization. I It's
Okay.
not so much that I need so much money, is that I feel that for the long term it's critical to diversify the way that this website makes my living, because it's very dangerous to rely on one avenue. Like now, I am the slave of Google. If they throw me out, I have nothing. If the ad
Yeah.
rates are changing, I am completely. I don't have control on the ad rates. So I want to be more diversified in the in the way I earn money from the traffic. I'm also thinking
What do
about
you?
making online courses. I haven't done anything about it, just an idea.
Yeah.
This is, for example, one thing that maybe it's worthwhile to outsource. I can outsource somebody to make a course and run the course on the website, stuff like that. But I feel that for the long term, I must diversify.
Yeah. That's of course, and keep thinking, keep scaling. Um, Erez, make sure not to rub your leg. It's
Sorry.
all picking it up on the mic. It's okay. Where do you see um, ChatGPT or AI figuring in? Is this something you're concerned about? Uh, is this something that you see that's going to be a tool you're trying to figure out how to use it to your advantage?
Well, to be frank, about a year ago when the big noise started with ChatGPT, I was a little bit panicked, and not only me, the chatter and all the I know the groups of people and podcasts around bidding websites. Everybody was in a panic from ChatGPT.
I
Uh,
got so tired of seeing AI in my feed, and I,
yeah,
I just stopped listening to most
yeah,
of them.
I agree. So, but because it was something I was building to make a living from it, I was concerned what's happening. And because of that, I also try to teach myself how to use it. And gradually I got more relaxed because what I saw that at least for now and for the foreseen future, if you search anything serious about machining, you get a bullshit answer, more or less. Like it's completely off. It's
Interesting.
yeah. I think because, in my opinion, I'm not an expert, but it needs a lot of data to be accurate. If you ask it about something which is written in many places, then the system can make some statistical assumption and will get the answer right. But for us, machining is a big thing, but it's a tiny niche in the big world. So
Yeah.
yeah, they also probably didn't do any effort to make something special about machining, so it doesn't work really well. So from this point of view, the machining doctor for the next years is safe. So
Right. But soon, the some people will say, "Oh, yeah, the whole figuring out jobs and looking at prints and that the AI will do the programming." And eventually one day,
yeah, maybe.
but
I'm not saying that. I don't know. Maybe in 5 or 10 years, yeah, it
yeah.
it can be something that will affect me directly more. I'm not sure, but right now, I use it in my daily work, not heavily, but here and there, like in writing and also in programming. And what I found interesting, the most effective thing it does for me is help me do computer programming.
Interesting.
If you ask him, write me a function that will, I don't know, take two numbers and check this and that and return this and that, it does it perfectly, amazingly and perfectly. If you define the what you need, the input and the output precisely, it will write a
Yeah.
computer program for you. So
Fascinating.
this I use a lot, like to not to make the whole program, but to make like specific functions that I'm not sure how to make. So I ask it to make it for me. Or
That's way cool.
like another thing I do with it, which is work pretty cool. I started recently also a YouTube channel about machining. And so when you upload something to YouTube, you have to make a title and description. So I give it I tell it, okay, here is the script for the YouTube video I just made. Write me 5 options for a title and a description for the video, and it does an excellent job at that. I
No
have to
way. Oh,
I
I'm totally doing that today.
I have to edit it, but it saves me a lot of time in this kind of things. Yeah,
Well, I
it
learned
does.
something amazing today. I feel like I had learned that already, but it was one of those things that just didn't stick in.
Yeah, but
Um,
you have to be the
you have to know how to
quality.
prompt it.
No, yeah, the quality of your prompt is super influencing the quality of what you get back, and you have to gain
Yeah,
some experience to do it in a way that works for you. But
sure.
but but in some things it does work well.
I'm
That's
going to
that,
try it.
yeah.
Um, let's let's break off a little bit. Um, you know, obviously Israel. It's what everybody hears about in the news. I've been to Israel several times. Of course, I haven't been there since 1999. So, how can you really know that much about a country if you haven't been there in 25 years? However, it's still, to me, it's a little demystified having been there still. I think a lot of people around the world, they just see what's on TV and they don't understand, safety, danger, what it's like. Um, how's the war affected you personally?
Personally, first of all, like everybody here, we were shocked and sad, and we are still, I would say sad. There is some like cloud sitting above our head. Everybody who lives here,
Yeah.
because it's a very difficult period. Um, and also, I have a son that is in the service as a reserve soldier.
And has he gone into combat?
Yeah, he's a paratrooper. So he's been in combat. He's been now more than 3 months in reserve service. So it's also tough to have a kid in this situation.
Did you ever fight in a war?
Myself, not. No,
Yeah.
I was not a combat soldier. So I was in the military like everybody else, but I was never in the front line personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not easy, but people we have this I don't know kind of thing that whatever happens, eventually you get used to it.
Yeah.
So after it's now 3 months going on, after a few weeks, more or less, life went on. You listen more to the
Yeah.
news, you are concerned, but you keep doing your everyday life. So I'm
I I
that's
think, you know, I know people who've lived in Israel. Um, I, who talk about the culture. Um, I think it'd be interesting for you to articulate to people. From what I've heard, there's just among Israelis, there's just, and I don't know how it is with stuff like something like this, but there's so many zillions of opinions about everything. Israelis are very diverse in their in their opinions about various things. Is this true for the most part?
Yes, here a lot of arguments about politics, but like you have from the very far left, uh, even Israelis who thinks that Israel should not exist because we are colonialists. So like this is the very
Mm-hmm.
far left, and you have very far right people who say we have to kick all the Arabs out. Okay, and you have everything in between. But
Yeah.
the majority of the people are, I think, are pretty aligned that we are living in a super tough neighborhood. I don't think you can appreciate from the US how tough this neighborhood is that we live in. And the other thing
Mm-hmm.
that people I think don't appreciate is how tiny Israel is. Israel is in the size of New Jersey, more or less. That's the whole country. So much noise in the news and so little. And this really tiny place is surrounded by 20 something Arab nations with, let's say, a total area more or less of the whole United States. So, like you have in New Jersey, surrounded all by the whole US who wants to destroy you. So, if you're not a little bit tough, you you cannot stay here. It's not an easy situation. You can say, okay, let's be nice. If we'll be too nice, we'll not be here. Very quickly, we'll not be here. So
Yeah.
it's not simple. For me, it's very hard to hear the blames on the international news about Israel. You are like killing babies. You are aggressive, and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, we really don't have a choice because the people who are against us, they are merciless. If we show this, weakness and we say, okay, we do nothing, then what happened 3 months ago on October 7th would be just a promo.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a, it is such a tough. I, and I don't know where this interview is going to go, and we don't have to put everything in there.
Yeah.
I just I feel like, you know, I feel like Hamas, they kind of got what they wanted. They wanted a huge reaction, and I'm not saying that Israel shouldn't have reacted how they did, but it's like they wanted a big reaction that everybody would say was an overreaction and start a shitstorm, and that's kind of what they got. I don't. Do you feel that way? I'm not saying they're winning or losing or whatever, but
Yes, I
I
mean, yeah.
feel like they achieved what they wanted.
First of all, I don't know. One of the lessons for me from October 7th and a lot of people in Israel that it's very, I don't know the word in English, but it's very arrogant, I would say, to think that you know how they think. Because every time we thought that we know how they think and try to get into their head, we are always wrong. So,
That is a really astute comment.
because nobody here guessed that they will do what they did on October 7th. And with all the big minds we have in intelligence, and everything, they said that they want other things. So it's really impossible, I think, to get into these people's head and to understand what kind of logic works there. Because if they had the logic that you and me have, they just use all the millions they got from around the world and they could build a Singapore in Gaza. Nobody, forced them to dig tunnels and build rockets. They could do something else.
Yeah.
So I think it's a waste of time for us to try to figure out what they think and what they want, because we'll probably get it wrong anyway. And
That's a really interesting comment. I haven't heard anybody say that, and that makes a lot of sense. As you know, a wise person once told me that nobody's a mind reader. So, so particularly people that act in ways that seem incomprehensible. How are you supposed to know what the hell's going on?
why did they crash the plane on the twin towers on 9/11? You cannot find a logic explanation for that, right?
Well, I mean, I think you can, but whether you're correct, Lord knows, How has the war affected the manufacturing and machining industry in Israel? Has it affected it? Is the workforce thinner because of people in the reserves?
Yeah, the workforce is somewhat thinner. So, like, some people struggle, but I think let's say on the big picture, if we are looking, I wouldn't say it affected the manufacturing segment
Okay.
in a big way. No, not that something that I feel. Some factories have more workforce that is absent, but they can compensate for that. And in terms of, let's say, orders and stuff like that, I don't think there is a change. I'm not really in the market because I'm building a website, but I have friends here and there, and my feeling is
Of
that there
course.
is no big change.
Do you feel like Israelis are, I don't like to say the word innate, but I will anyways, sort of innately entrepreneurial? Maybe it comes from the whole, like, we have a zillion enemies around us. We have less to lose, or they're the descendants of first generation immigrants, and it seems like there's just tons of entrepreneurship, tons of tech companies, etc. Do you think Israel, that reputation is true, and why do you think that's true?
First of all, the reputation is true 100%. I mean, it's crazy the amount of multinational companies that have big centers in Israel. Everybody, like Google, Apple, Intel, whatever. Any big name from the Silicon Valley has a big facility in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
What they say, I don't have the figures exactly, that this is the second most important center after Silicon Valley for high tech, like software and
But
electronics, stuff like
there's a lot of
that.
startups from Israel,
Yeah,
not just the big
yeah,
guys
yeah.
going to Israel.
It's two things. A lot of startups that some of them eventually are bought by the big names, and also all the big
Mm-hmm.
names invest a lot. Uh, and manufacturing and machining is not something big in Israel. I mean, we have a few good things, but like this is not something big in the economy. The big thing in the economy for sure is the high tech segment, which drives the economy forward. So the
The
fact
hiking, you said?
almost
No, what,
I said high
what,
tech.
what the hike, and the hiking is a close second,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, almost. So
So why do you think that it's and why is this? What's the theory behind this
I
phenomenon?
mean, there have been
We're just really smart. We're really smart people
no,
genetically.
I don't know. I mean, there are a few books written about it. I haven't read them, but
I'm sure.
there are some books about this. I haven't read them, so it's probably something in the culture of the people. But I didn't give it like a really deep thought, and also, you know, it's an interesting question, and the
Because it's sort of a socialist country at the same time. I mean, in the way.
it was a socialist country, but it's totally capitalist for the past 20 or more years. It began as a
Well,
socialist, almost communist country, and it gradually changed. But today there are nothing socialist about it.
don't you pay like 50% of your income to the government? And
Yes, but like
yeah,
in Europe, you pay even a little bit more. I know in the US it's less, but so let's say okay, US is probably more capitalist in terms of income tax, but let's say the way people think, the way people act is capitalism.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Do you just a couple more questions I like to ask people.
sure,
Um, when you think of the word happiness, what comes to mind?
happiness. I don't know, family, traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, hard
That's
for me to
good.
say.
And just just to finish up, tell everybody where they can find you, where they can find the machining doctor, where they can find stuff about hiking, where they can contact you.
Okay, so I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, so you can find me there if you put my name or write machining doctor in LinkedIn. You will find me. Of course, on my websites, if you Google machining doctor, you will get onto the website. There you can go on the contact page and contact me. Also, if you type in if you Google Israel by foot, you reach my hiking website and you can contact me from there. So I'm not hard to find, and I'm happy with anybody contacting me.
Are you still hiking all the time?
All the time is a very big word. Yeah, I mean mostly on weekends, if the weather is nice. Yeah, I try to get outdoors. So
Get out from under the computer screen.
yeah, something like that.
Well, Erez, Erez, thank you so much. This was so much fun and so interesting. I really appreciate it, and I'm grateful for all the cool stuff you're doing.
I thank you very much for having me. It's a big honor for me to sit and talk with you
Oh,
and join this this good this really engaging podcast to be part of it. So, I'm proud for being here, truly.